Hey everybody, Stacy here with New Creations by Stacy. Check out this super easy dresser makeover, no sanding involved with the stained finish. So of course I started off here by just removing the hardware, and then I'm cleaning my piece with White Lightning, which is a TSP based solution by Dixie Belle Paint Company. Once it's all clean, I just spray it down with water to rinse off any residue and then wipe it back with a lint-free paper towel. At this point, I'm ready to prime. The top of this piece is actually a laminate finish, while the front and sides are an oak finish. So I'm actually using Bonding Boss, which is a two-part primer. It's going to cover me for slick surfaces, as well as it's going to block the bleed through from the tannins in wood. Oak is a typical yellow bleeder. So I'm going to do 2 coats of this. I did wait about 2 hours in between coats, and then about 24 hours before I'm ready to proceed on to my next step. The Bonding Boss comes in gray, white, and clear. In this case, I chose to use clear since I'm going to be using the Voodoo gel stain, and I want all that beautiful wood grain to show through. I wanted a light, fresh, airy feel here, so I decided to go with the Bleached Cypress and the Voodoo gel stain. This is a water-based stain, and I'm just applying it here with a blue sponge so I can get a nice, even coat. One thing to be aware of when you're applying stain is that when you're standing behind your piece and you're doing the top, your arm naturally goes in an arc, and that will show up for you. You don't want to see that arc in your piece, so I tend to stand to the side and move my body down the whole top of the piece so I get a nice straight line that is even with the wood grain. Since this piece was super orangey and I definitely wanted to get rid of all of that orange, I did go ahead and apply 2 coats of the Bleached Cypress here. Both coats I did use the blue sponge in order to apply, and then I used just a premium chip brush to kind of get in those grooves in between the drawers to ensure everything was coated. The dry time is pretty quick on this, so I was able to go ahead and do the second coat about 2 hours after the first coat. Definitely depends on your environment, how long it takes to dry, and how much humidity is in the air. If the first coat is not completely dry, you can potentially pull back some of that first coat while going over it with the second coat. And I did apply 2 thin layers again. Depending on your piece and how you want it to look, you can only do 1 coat of the Voodoo gel stain. Typically when I sand, that's all I do because I do like it to be very transparent. I like to see as much wood grain as possible. And of course, since it's water-based, it is a super easy soap and water cleanup. Guys, this stain goes a long way. In doing 2 coats on this dresser, I didn't even quite use 8 ounces of stain. I wanted a nice smooth finish here, so I'm just using a 600 grit rad pad, 600 grit sandpaper to quickly go over the entire dresser so that it has a nice smooth feel. For the final step, I'm using Satin clear coat. You just want to stir this up really well. It looks a little bit milky, but it does dry to a nice clear finish. The clear coat is available in 3 finishes: satin, flat, or gloss. I like to apply thin coats, and I like to do at least 2 coats of the clear coat. It is water resistant as well. You can use gator hide if you do need it to be water repellent. This is especially good if you're doing cabinets or something of that nature. To ensure I have a streak-free finish, I do like to use a blue sponge on top. And then for the bottom, I decided to go ahead and switch to a brush so I could get really well into all the grooves. You do want to use a synthetic brush as well. Hope you enjoyed this video, and you can find all the products here on my website at www.newcreationsbystacy.com. And of course, the link is in the description as well. Have a great day.